And it is, and as you say, it's happening more than most people realize. We're looking right now at something that got publicity, but it's not a unique situation.
No, it's not.
So what on a national basis, what can be done to try to avoid this kind of, I guess, bullying is what's going on here?
Well, I'd like to just address that in the sense from an education point of view. I think the administrators of our schools are not doing their job in many cases. In many cases they are. But in some of these cases where the bullying, the harassment has been brought up to the administration and the administration has failed to do anything about it. That's where the crime is, as far as I'm concerned, that they're not protecting the students. And there are a number of national organizations that are actually working on this, but they're finding resistance from the school administrators not to bring these programs into the schools, the anti-bullying, the anti-harassment. Not only is it the gay and lesbian organizations that have these, the Southern Poverty Center in Mobile has been working on gay and lesbian issues for a long time. And they also have a program. They recently, I think that it is now available, a video dealing with teaching tolerance. And it is particularly against bullying, and it includes gay and lesbians in that video.
And they want that shown in the schools?
They want it shown in the schools.
But school administrators are resisting it, you're saying?
Some do.
Do you think it's because of homophobia or what?
I think that's part of it. I don't know what else excuse that they're using, except that they don't want to have to face some of their other parents who think that when you show something like that in the schools that you're promoting homosexuality rather than simply educating the students that there are people like this. There are people like us that have a right to be treated equally and treated with respect.
And for teachers to try to teach tolerance, do they have to have approval from their system, or could individual teachers just decide to do that?
That would be a question I think you might have to ask the teachers themselves. I think some of them would feel probably comfortable, depending on the school they're in, showing a video like that. But I'm sure that there are schools that, if a teacher were to do that, they probably would be reprimanded. We tried several years ago to get into the school systems, and we met a lot of resistance.
And when you say the school system, are you talking about public schools, private schools, or all schools?
At that time, we were talking about Orleans Parish Public Schools.
Okay, and you've got resistance. Well, are you still making those attempts?
We haven't lately, because there's been so much change since Katrina that we don't exactly know how to get into them. But we have noticed a real upswing in student organizations that are called GSAs, Gay Straight Alliances, especially in high schools in this area. And these are started by the students themselves. And in Louisiana, the students have to start the organization. They have to ask for the organization to be started, and then they get a student advisor who's a teacher who advises them. Mm-hmm. So the Gay Straight Alliances have been some help with this.
Are there many such alliances in Orleans Parish?
Yes, and in Jefferson Parish also.
Okay.
So these are definitely causing some changes in the schools. Last year, I was invited to speak at Newman to the entire student body of the high school there on gay issues, and I did, and I was very well received, but they're not a public school. And of course, we have not gotten into the Catholic schools, and that's...
Which might be a futile effort. But how about all the new charter schools? Wouldn't they be more likely to be open to this kind of program?
I would like to think so.
I think so too. Now, I've noticed both of us work at colleges, and I have found that the college population is much more accepting and tolerant of people, especially here at I have not had any problems where I work with that, and I am the advisor for the GLBT students at my school. I work at Delgado Community College.
All right.
And the students have told me that they're accepted by everyone, that nobody cares if they're transgendered or gay or lesbian. They just look past that. They want to know you as a person.
That gives us some hope for the next generation.
It absolutely does. It absolutely does.
Unfortunately, a lot of this bullying takes place at a younger age, even before
Yes.
high school.
Yes,
And these poor kids really can't defend themselves.
that's true. That's true. And so what we are doing with this is we are supporting a bullying bill for the state of Louisiana. The Forum for Equality, which is another organization, has been trying to get this passed for a long time, years and years and years. And we are always going up to Baton Rouge, as they are. We go with them to talk about it and to talk about our experiences and to encourage our elected officials to pass a bullying bill for this state.
How
It has to be
close has it
done.
come?
Not very close, unfortunately.
And do you have some good legislators who've been trying to
We do.
press this through?
We really do. Juan LaFonta has been a wonderful friend of our
Okay.
community. There are several of them who have been really very supportive of the community. And the problem has been that while they support bullying to a point, they also don't support it in another way. They don't
I
want to.
presume you're talking about anti-bullying.
They don't want to include, anti-bullying. They
Yeah.
don't want to include transgenders in the bill for some reason. And this has been our fight. We have fought for years to include transgenders, not only in anti-bullying bills, but also in ENDA, which is the Employee Non-Discrimination Act.
Yes.
You know, but your viewers might not know, that in Louisiana, as in many states in the United States, people can be fired for no reason. And if an employer assumes that you are gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender, you can just be fired, and he doesn't even have to tell you why. We want protections in place. We want laws passed on a state and a national level that will protect our children.
Well, our politics in Louisiana, not necessarily in New Orleans, but in Louisiana, are very conservative and very much influenced by right-wing politics and religion.
That's true.
And I'm assuming that a lot of the resistance to this kind of legislation is a religious opposition to it. That's hard to overcome.
It is. It is.
Now, could this kind of legislation be done on a local level? Could there be city ordinances or parish? Could a parish school system do it without having a state anti-bullying legislation?
Local schools should be able to have
Schools
their own
can.
anti-bullying
Yeah.
policies. I don't think that has to be statewide,
Yes.
or even parish-wide per se, although when you're talking about the public schools, yes, I think it would be more than likely to be a parish-wide thing. But the charter schools ought to be able to instigate these anti-bullying
Could the
policies.
city
on their own.
council pass some kind of an ordinance, an anti-bullying ordinance?
I don't think it would affect the schools. The schools would have to do it themselves.
Because the schools are state
Yes.
schools.
Yes.
All right. Well, I know there's something very important that I'd like to talk to you all about, and that's your scholarships. Tell us about that.
Well, our scholarship program has been going on now for 20 years. It was started by one of the local gay businessmen, and he gave the money for the first scholarship and had a reception to honor the students that were selected. And it has grown since then. In the last 20 years now, we are reaching almost $500,000 given out in scholarships. The application period will be getting again now for the next year. The deadline for getting the scholarship applications is